Welcome to Angelic Awakenings, where we move you from surviving to thriving to create epic change in your life. Please welcome your host, Shannon Leichner, along with her special guest.
Hello, everybody. I am Shannon Leichner, and I am the host of Angelic Awakenings. We have an amazing lineup for you, but I could not start this Angelic Awakening Summit without this woman right here. Asheika Butler is an amazing woman, and I actually would like for her to tell you exactly what it is that she does. So let's jump right on in. Hi, Asheika.
Hey, Shannon, thank you so much for inviting me. And it's really great to be a part of this. So let's talk about Asheika. Who is she? Yes, let's let's see. This journey has been amazing. I remember as a child, I had ideas that things were a little different, but the program and things and way we wish, and our parents doing the best they could with what they had, they guided us in a way that was kind of like the system of things. But I always knew there was another way. And so as we got older, and my girlfriend and I, we just start saying, okay, we're going to go do this program the way they want us to, but we know there's another way. So I just literally held on to that my whole entire life. And I know the things that I'm doing now are a direct connect to that little piece that I wouldn't let go, knowing that there was something more, knowing that there was something different and more expansive. And I guess even along my entire journey, I've been seeking that out and following the breadcrumbs to those things. And it's landed me here in this space of first being my own client, my own client. The things that I do, the techniques and the modalities that I teach and I assist people with, everything has been things that I've done myself. So just going through those healing journeys and recognizing that the way in which we are and we have been, there's so much more, and every part of our journey has been necessary. So even, the good and the bad and everything in between is phenomenal and important to our journey, which has led me and my husband to be on a mission to assist others who are awakening, who are coming into their knowing, who are beginning to feel the shifts within themselves and not necessarily fully understanding what's taking place. And as we continue to learn and grow, we recognize that we can assist people along the way now. There's no goal to get to. There's no space to land in. We understand this is an ongoing journey of life, to experience life, the magic that life has. And we can do that with the tools that we've learned and tapping into the power within us and allowing that to shine through. And that's pretty much what my mission is. And like I said, my husband is joining us because we understand, like, with relationships and things of that nature, divine union is very important. So he and I have come together expressing divine feminine, divine masculine in union to express that is still here. That access, that loving energy is still here. And it's different now. It's a lot of things emerging energetically, and it's time for the masculine and the feminine to rise together in divine union. And that is hugely part of our journey together at this point.
Definitely. That's just such a beautiful story. I mean, we hear about that so much now. We hear about how we truly, first of all, as who we are, we must walk our walk and be in alignment with our talk. A lot of people will have all of this talk, but they don't really walk the walk. So it's very important and I do this as well, it's very important for us to, if we're going to ask our clients or people that we're helping to do something, you better have been willing to, or better have done it to know that it works in the first place before you start prescribing it to everybody else. Absolutely. So I just love that. And then you talked about the divine masculine and divine feminine, and there really is an emergence of that. And there's been a lot of debate lately about the masculine and the feminine and the alpha. And I truly, I'm right there with you. The masculine and the feminine, they can coexist in the alpha. They can coexist as partners, and it really seems like that's what you have with your mate. And I think that's wonderful.
Yes. And also, I want to drop into the space, the knowingness, and it's just, your perspective, but we embody the perspective of my yin and my yang are all feminine. I do not house a masculine. I have the masculine. That's why we're in divine union. My husband does not embody feminine. His yin and his yang is also masculine because he came through as a masculine being. And that's a little distortion that we've recognized in our way of understanding and being in this, is that when you co-opt these energies that are not necessarily yours, you can feel an energetic disconnect within your being. You can feel that energetic, because that is something that when you think about it, and you take, even myself, when that came through for me and I was able to let go of the fact that I don't house a masculine energy, it was literally like so much weight was lifted off. And I didn't have to, oh, well, I'm this type of person. So you no longer have to hold on to those things that no longer serve you. And it just felt so amazing to release that and take it off, and now begin to share with others the option of that. You don't have to take it on, but just play with the idea of the fact that you don't have to co-opt an energy that is not necessarily yours to hold.
Yes. We could talk about this for hours, couldn't we? And we have many times. But you know what? I mean, I know that you are a very powerful being. And I mean, it's such an honor to have you on Angelic Awakenings. And as that powerful being, how is it and what is it that you do to help and assist other people? What is the, whether it be your techniques or what do you call it? What is it that you do in your realm of work?
There's a lot of things that I do. And also I've unhooked from labeling every single thing, because I know whoever sits before me and aligns with me, we will come to know what it is they seek and what they need, because they come to you, at least our clients, they'll come to us for a particular thing, but we can weave through it and be like, oh, this is what you're really here for. So we do that through readings. We do that through a lot of coaching and a lot of mentorship, things of that nature, actually healing modalities, releasing emotions. That's actually what I want to talk more about later, is healing, your emotions, releasing the emotions. But it's just more so a mentorship, coaching, and I have some healing modalities and things that we like to like sprinkle in. It's almost based on where the client is on their journey. That's hugely important. Like, are they just waking up, or have they been here and need some redirection or some things to, remind them of who they are? But the whole thing is to return everybody that sits before us back to the power within themselves and the magic within them. So that's what I would say. If there's an overarching to share, it's showing people how to see the power and the magic within themselves, so that can reflect out in their outer world. Once we identify what's within us, let their light shine bright outside for all the world to see, and getting them to that point and just working them through, the things that the paradigm shift, things that are occurring. Just it's really challenging because things are happening so rapid and so fast to anchor down in one thing. But I do a lot of quantum consciousness shifting, fun stuff, lots of fun stuff.
I can say you've shifted my consciousness a couple times.
Oh, wow.
So we work on a group together called the I Am Collective, and we came together and it was just a powerful energy. So I'm so excited about that. Do you have what is your most powerful story with a client? Like something that just moves you even to think about it today?
Oh, to share with a client. I believe, well, the thing that's coming up to share with you in this now moment, let me give you that one, is really the divine connection with my husband. That is so spectacular. So my husband and I met when I was 19 years old, and I'm far from 19 right now if we're doing time. And I always knew that he and I could have something amazing and spectacular. I didn't understand why he and I were friends first. And we journeyed through this life, and we began to pay attention that our union was always an example of relationships, yet we're seeing that in this now, okay? So when he and I got together, we were friends, and things, life happened. We started having children, we got married. But as we were journeying together, things, began to emerge in terms of relationship, understanding each other. Things are changing. Yet we've always decided that we were going to go through everything together. We were going to stay together, and we will work through everything together, that no one will be able to come between us. And even though we encountered things throughout the journey together, little hiccups along the way where you got to redirect things, the love that we have now, we know everything has been absolutely worth it and necessary for our journey. So when couples sit before us, or someone is in desire of a mate, or what's going on with their, their love life or things like that, we would direct them to the energy of paying attention to whom they are, because they are in every relationship. What's the common denominator? So a lot of our focus is that union and that love and that togetherness, and having that person to journey through life with you with. And that for me has been the biggest joy of my life, because in that we created children, and he's right here with me, wanting to be a better him, and knowing that he has a gift to share with the world. And that is just so amazing to me when I'm seeing others seeking that which we have, and we have done work enough that we can begin to help and assist them to know that there is a way, if you desire a way, to remain with your mate and your partner if things should arise, and begin to teach and drop in different ways of beingness that we weren't taught based on the environments that we were raised in. So I think the most right now, that's the most desired divineness on my heart, is what my husband and I have and are continuing to create beyond this.
Well, I see your hashtag on your shirt. You should have hashtag relationship goals.
Well, it's
because that's gonna
inspiring
be mine.
steps. Yeah. That's who we are, inspiring steps, inspiring ourselves and each other one step at a time.
Yes, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
we'll put a sub hashtag relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So I know that you work with the angels, and this is Angelic Awakenings, and I would just love to hear, maybe if you have a story or something about the angels. How do you interact with them? How is it that you're connected to them? Whatever you'd like to share about them.
I love being engulfed in their presence. I love like when I meditate, I can sometimes, literally, as I'm looking at the wings behind you, I can feel like the gentle hugs that'll come when they wrap us in their divine lovingness and guidance. And every morning I do like this thing. Well, I welcome the angels into my space, where I'm like, guide me, show me, do all the things. And I love, even with our children, our youngest son, he'll tell us, oh, Mom, I saw, and I'm like, oh, that was probably an angel, son. So just introducing him into that. Mom, and what was this? And I love just being able to enrich ourselves and to learn more and connect more with the angels. And my grandma shows up all the time, and when I see feathers and stuff, it reminds me of my grandma. And I'm like, oh, okay, so they're around me, and I love the little signs that I get to know that I'm around. My angel numbers, I love it. Like, I'm connecting all the time. Like, I get chilled. Like, I'm getting chills now. Like, okay, I feel it. I feel the energies. I love that.
I think that's how we first connected, was because we both have a very strong connection to the angels. Yeah. And I believe that our first connection was talking about our right hand angel, let's call it. Yeah, so yeah, that was a very deep connection for me as well. So I really loved that.
Yeah.
So everyone has that divine story, that just kind of opens you up to this amazing world. And I was wondering if you have something like that to share with us.
Oh, goodness, that divine story. My entire experience is divine. So every story I tell is a divine story. At least I feel. I'm thinking, oh, goodness. Well, okay, here we go. Got it. So my mom transitioned when I was 15 years old. And I created a space where, and I didn't realize this until being on the other side of it, that I created an energy where no one was allowed to speak to it or talk about it. So that was very interesting to me. So I was in a deep meditation about maybe 20 years after her transitioning, and she came to me in such a beautiful way, and she explained that I had followed all the breadcrumbs. I had everything, like, so the things that I was doing, she was telling me, like, I was showing you the way, like, you did everything, you've landed in this space of, to want to seek meditation and, all of those things. And it was the divine connection I'm speaking to in that was my mom was with me the entire time, even when I was not giving any attention to her. She guided me in a way that showed me, hey, I've been here, I've seen the things, you've done it. And it was literally like, oh, I'm really paying attention now, because I hadn't spoke of her in over 20 years. And when she came through for me, it was literally like I saw her, the energy of her, the essence of her. And instead, I embraced it so deeply. And I knew that that was an important part of the journey, because there was no way in the world I could get all of this knowingness without her showing me the way and then coming and telling me, you've been doing it. And that's how she said, you've been doing it, baby girl. They used to call me baby girl. She's like, you've been doing it, baby girl. You followed all the breadcrumbs. I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So that was really deep. And that's a very, a story I like to keep close to my heart, but I don't mind sharing it with you and the, and the listeners and viewers. So
I think you've pulled
that's,
just about every heartstring I have.
oh goodness.
I expected it though, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you're such an amazing energy. I would agree that everything that you talk about is divine, because it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our world, in this 3D world, let's call it,
Yes, yes.
we come here, we learn, and you know, this summit is to talk about struggle, and because we notice in this world there's just a whole lot of struggle going on, and just because we have arrived where we are does not mean we have not struggled, does not
Correct.
mean that we have not learned, does not mean that we have had to pick ourselves up when no one else was around to pick ourselves up. So as that, could you talk to me about an amazing experience that you had while overcoming struggle?
I would say the biggest struggle I had resulted in, again, it goes back to my husband. My husband and I becoming even more closer together. Just recognizing that a lot of this stuff, you know, we set up on the other side of this, but there was still, like you said, 3D things to experience, 3D things that came through. And for us, it would be um really wanting to be better than I was before, and recognizing my role in things and recognizing how I'm showing up. I believe a part of a lot of struggles out there is because the lens may be turned outward, and it's like all of this is happening outside of us. But the most profound things I speak to again is when I turned that lens inward and I began to see how I was showing up in these relationships, how I was um handling him, and how, you know, how we were handling each other in our interaction, and just knowing that we desired something truly different. We desired to love and trust again. We desired to be the best we could be, and it's literally in being in the moment. That's a huge piece of being in the moment, instead of going back and getting old things and bringing them into the now, or projecting so far into the future where you're losing sight of what you have most important to you now. Like just projecting, you know, old other circumstances coming into your now. It's like, okay, we have to stop doing that. So part of the struggle and recognizing that we don't have to struggle is us realizing how can we be in our now. And we practice that so much, being present. What do we have most now? Because that's our most potent, powerful, magical moment, is our now.
Yes.
And so when we have those struggles and those things come up, of course, we've put in different modalities now that we implement. A huge go-to is meditation, but also releasing those emotions, because a lot of the reasons why people are struck, because they're anchoring in and they're holding on. At least that's what we've encountered and we've expressed. Like for ourselves, we were holding on to lots of emotions. And if you're full of all of that heaviness, how can you release yourself from that? How can you become lighter? How can you operate more in your knowingness and your authentic self if you're not holding on to old stuff that no longer serves you?
Yes.
That has been huge for us. Huge, huge, huge.
Yes. Yes. And if you notice now, even in society, that first, I think I want to back up a little bit. We're talking about the 3D. And for those listeners who may not understand what we're talking about when we talk about the 3D. So for me, when I refer to the 3D, I'm talking about the world here and all of the worldly experiences. And usually I call it the 3D sludge, which is the fear, the
Yes.
anger, all of those lower level emotions. That's what I call the 3D sludge. And so when I'm talking about 3D, I'm talking about this tangible world. And then there's something called the meta, which is meta means above. So the meta for me is
Yes.
above the tangible world. But we can, that's where we can pull ourselves out of this 3D sludge. And you know, it doesn't help to overcome anything when you're swimming or drowning in the 3D sludge. And
Right.
a lot of that is, you know, in my opinion, it's a lot of things that are happening in the media and the world today with we kind of anchor in, like you're talking about, when somebody's in fear, they anchor into that's all it is, and that's the only thing that's in existence right now. That's when the issues arise. And
Right.
so, yeah, so I just wanted to explain the 3D because some people may not understand what we're talking about when we talk about the 3D.
Gotcha.
So you had talked about your struggle. Do you have for our people who are listening, maybe some tools or some recommendations on how to overcome struggle?
Well, it also depends on the type of struggle you're speaking of, but I would like to not struggle with, I would like to highlight the importance of releasing those emotions, the importance of thinking about what are those things that you could think about that would trigger you into anger, trigger you into sadness. What are those things? And as those things do surface, release them and allow them to be released without judgment. I see so many people holding on to their emotions and not allowing them to be released naturally and authentically because they feel like they're releasing the person or the situation, when in actuality you'll always have those beautiful memories, but that energy that was created must be released. So when we can allow the tears to fall, we can get it out and really like keep going until it's out. You can enjoy the memories without that attachment to that struggle, without that connective energy to that thing that seemed to hurt you, when actually you are the one that's holding on to it. That situation is not happening now. You are bringing it back into your now, and you must be responsible for releasing that within you. And once you begin to do that, you'll open up and want to do more of it because you can literally energetically feel the lift, the shift, the lightness, and the heaviness released from you. So that would be a huge tool that I would love to see more of. People releasing it and not holding on to it any longer.
100%. When we talk about that, you had mentioned in the beginning about looking into yourself and really truly owning yourself. And I call that self authenticity. And it's the same thing. It's just I put a word to it. And you talk about you don't put labels, so it's all good. But anyway, I agree with you. And a lot of times what we do is we say they did that. Them, right? And even we're looking we've got three fingers pointing back at us, right? And it's just reminding us to be in our authenticity. There are some horrific things that happen to people in this world. There are horrific things that have happened to me. I'm sure there's horrific things that have happened to you. When we step into our authenticity of how we arrived at that point, and when we step into the authenticity of, we may have, as spirits, asked those spirits to come into this life to do those things to us, right? Yes. And so we must then again be authentic and say, what we were hoping to learn from that? And when you use things as a learning lesson, and when you use things as really just moving past the they and going into yourself and how do I benefit from this? Yes. You move out of the 3D, you move out of those emotions, because you can't remain mad at somebody when they were just playing a role. Yeah. A lot of them deserve Academy Awards, by the way. I mean, some of these spirits
are committed.
Take their responsibility.
Yes.
They take that promise and they go, I'm going to play it to the fullest amount. And then you go, okay, the Academy Award goes to you.
Absolutely. I know all about that.
So before we run out of time, I
Yeah.
would love to, I heard that you have a free offering, and I would love to hear about that for our guests today.
Excellent. And wouldn't you know, it's about releasing emotions. So it's really I just put together something to walk people through quick steps. It doesn't take a long time unless you need it to be, where they'll take them through a few steps of showing them how they can release emotions and do this intentionally. Of course, we're releasing emotions all the time, but are you going into it specifically, intentionally to release these emotions of these older things that you've been holding on to them? So it's my husband and I do it often. We've incorporated as a tool for us, opening up the energies within us. And we're like, this is something really cool to put together for other people where they can drop in, do this now, and begin to feel the shifts almost instantly within themselves. So I pray and desire for everyone to participate and do what you can with it. It should be really, really, really inspiring and helpful.
Well, that sounds amazing. I think I'm going to have to sign up and check that out as well. That sounds so amazing.
Thank you.
So how do people get a hold of you?
You can reach me on social medias. I'm Asheika Butler on Facebook, and this is funny, I am Asheika Indigo, like all of that. I am Asheika Indigo is my name on Instagram and TikTok. I'm doing a lot of fun things on TikTok. Just sharing with people more about things about manifestation and manifesting the love, the health, the money, all the fun things, and just a beautiful, amazing beingness in life. So that's where you can catch us at.
I've watched her on TikTok. She has some amazing videos. So yes, please go
Thank
visit
you.
Asheika Butler. Why, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for talking with me and sitting here with all of the audience. And we look forward to having you on other summits. You've given me so many ideas of things that we should really be talking about. Maybe one day we'll have to bring her and Kevin on, which is her mate, and we can
Yes.
talk about the divine masculine and divine feminine. Oh, that just sounds so
We would
fantastic.
love that. I love that. And call us anytime. We are here for you, Shannon. I love
Yeah.
that we're here and that you're putting this together. So thanks again for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, audience, for joining me. And I mean, I have an amazing lineup, so stay tuned. And then we're going to have a lot more of these summits as well. So thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Angelic Awakenings, where we move you from surviving to thriving to create epic change in your